Right, let's move on to Walt Disney Company next. So why did we pick this one? Well, it's a media giant and it's got substantial reach and heft, specifically with regard to live sport broadcasting. That's ESPN. But of course, it's got the theme parks and the resorts and the consumer products division and the movies. It's got a market capitalization of $148.8 billion, price to earnings ratio 16.6, and it's a solid dividend payer, 1.54%. So if you put the whole lot together, they're a content owner. I mean, everybody thinks of Mickey Mouse and the theme parks, but the real giant in the business, I think, is the ESPN and the ABC TV and the related movie streams and so on and so forth. Do you like it?
I do. I think, well, one, from a valuation perspective, it's in the media space. They are innovative. They do have legacy issues. So we spoke about the analog to digital transformation. I think Bob Iger has been incredibly...
That's the long-time CEO, but he's been tremendous. I mean, the company's done very well under his leadership. Huh?
Correct. And he's been able to transform with the times, which I think is a massive credit to him. I think they were the first company to actually distribute video content on iTunes. So he has been kind of forward thinking in that sense.
Yeah.
But he does have the legacy issues. I mean, ESPN is obviously the big money spinner for them.
So how do you think ESPN's going to do? Because live sport is an unassailable media behemoth, and it's because a lot of TV you can watch after the event. It doesn't matter if you stream Game of Thrones late, you might get a few spoilers. But you can't, if you're a real sports fan, watch 3 days later, because by then everybody's talked about the result and there's no suspense in it.
Correct. So it comes down to rights, who has broadcasting rights and digital rights. And I think a lot of people have begun streaming live sport.
Yeah.
They've now looked to partner with certain digital streaming companies and broadcast ESPN through those platforms.
Because the ESPN reaches about 100+ million US houses through cable subscriptions and all sorts of other bouquets, right? That's how it works. They sell that for a specific fee and then the money flows back.
Correct. Yeah. So I think that we speak about innovation and Bob Iger being at the forefront of that. He will continue to look for ways to keep these products cash generative and finding ways of growing these businesses as well.
As far as the movie stuff's concerned, that's Pixar and Marvel, so that's all those superhero movies. I mean, people keep going for those things. They just carry on watching, the newest version of that, or the Star Wars thing, as someone points out.
Right,
it's all good, right?
Yeah, so the concern with those businesses is obviously they're lumpy. I mean, you can have fantastic movies one year and you can have terrible movies the following year. I mean, this year, The Jungle Book was one of their fantastic productions, which has been a big money spinner for them as well. So
there's the share chart. Tell us what do you think's going on there? Why did it go to the highs in 2015 and then slump since then? There was a bit of concern about ESPN, I think.
Right. So slow growth coming from the media networks business, and that's obviously as a result of ESPN. I think they actually generated no growth this year.
Yeah.
In the theme parks business, where they've got Disney World, as we know it, in Orlando, Paris, they've launched Shanghai this year.
Which looks good.
Which looks very good. It cost them $5.5 billion to create this amazing theme
But it's got like 300 million people within a 2-hour drive of the place.
Exactly. But with global tourism coming under pressure, I think you found that that these theme parks haven't been doing so well. And that's obviously as a result of global terror attacks,
and that is still a big business for them. It's
Correct.
A solid, kind of 25% of revenue, and it's not really kicking in enough by way of profits lately.
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to do a quick diversion here. There's talk in the market that Twitter is for sale, and one of the bidders is Salesforce, but one of the other bidders potentially is Disney. And the talk there is that what they want to do is to own that media stream and to have tweets running while people are watching ESPN, while they have those talk shows like Sports Center and Around the Horn and so on. That sounds like an interesting idea, but it's a big check. Someone's going to be paying $20 billion. Google is also rumored to be interested. Do you think it's a serious proposition that Disney might move to put out for Twitter?
It's a possibility, I think.
Yeah.
I think the jury's still out. We've had the Netflix talk this week as well, and them adding
What,
Netflix.
that Disney might be looking at Netflix?
Correct. Yeah,
Wow.
and that's been in the talk this week.
That'd also be a big check.
So that's another big check. So I think one shouldn't speculate on these types of acquisitions. I think rather look at the core business and understand it.
So on that note, hot or not on Disney?
I'm hot on Disney. From a valuation perspective, I think that it's a very attractive entry point to these types of globally transforming media businesses.
Yeah, and presumably some sort of rebound in some of those business units that have been underperforming. Yes, so we're hot on that one.